Scott Charles Bigelow was an American professional wrestler, best known by the ring name Bam Bigelow. During his professional wrestling career spanning 21 years, Bigelow worked in major wrestling promotions, including the World Wrestling Federation, the original Extreme Championship Wrestling promotion, and World Championship Wrestling. He was recognizable by his size of nearly 390 pounds, and a distinctive flame tattoo that spanned most of his bald head. Bigelow was known by the nickname, the Beast from the East. Bigelow held multiple championships in both ECW and WCW, and 13 throughout his career. Among other accolades, he was a one-time ECW World Heavyweight Champion, and a two-time WCW World Tag Team Champion. Although he never held a WWF title, he headlined multiple pay-per-view events for the promotion, including WrestleMania. Ryan Murphy of WWE, in a 2013 publication, described Bigelow as the most natural, agile and physically remarkable big man of the past quarter-century. Career: Memphis. After training in Larry Sharp's Monster Factory in New Jersey, Bigelow debuted as an athletic and agile monster heel in the Memphis territory of Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett in the summer of 1986. Billed as the Beast of the East, and referred to as the Bammer by announcer Lance Russell, Bigelow was slowly established as an unstoppable force who challenged then-champion Jerry Lawler. Continental Wrestling Association and World Class Championship Wrestling. In early 1987, Bigelow wrestled in the Continental Wrestling Association, teaming with Jerry Lawler to feud with Austin Idol and Tommy Rich. Around the same time, Bigelow worked a brief stint in World Class Championship Wrestling with a Russian gimmick under the name Crusher Yurkov. World Wrestling Federation. In May 1987, he signed with the World Wrestling Federation. The storyline upon his debut was that the various heel managers were all vying for Bigelow's services. The angle was thus called the Battle for Bam Bam. Bigelow in the end wound up a babyface when he denounced all the heel managers and announced that his manager was going to be Oliver Humperdinck. Fans were entertained by Bigelow's unique style and his remarkable agility for a man his size. His first WWF encounters were with Nikolai Volkov and his jilted manager Slick. Bigelow wrestled as a part of Hulk Hogan's team at the first Survivor Series, in which he survived longer than even Hogan. He eliminated both King Kong Bundy and One Man Gang, but eventually lost to sole survivor Andre the Giant. He wrestled in the WWF for 1 year before leaving to have surgery on a badly injured knee. Despite this injury, he performed anyway to elevate the status of his co-performers. Bigelow lost by countout to One Man Gang in the first round of WrestleMania IV's WWF World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. Jim Crockett Promotions in Japan. Bigelow briefly re-emerged with the NWA member Jim Crockett Promotions in late 1988, and was immediately set up to challenge Barry Windham for the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship. While NWA wanted control of Bigelow, his loyalty was with New Japan, to whom he was committed. After this brief stay, Bigelow went to Japan to work for the legendary Antonio Inoki's New Japan Pro Wrestling. Here, he formed a tag team with Big Van Vader, winning the IWGP Tag Team Championship. In 1992 he left New Japan, performing for several other Japanese professional wrestling promotions. His time in these promotions featured a win over Japanese wrestling legend Kenta Kobashi during a brief stint in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Returned to WWF in late 1992, Bigelow returned to the WWF as a heel, making his in-ring return on the November 28 episode of Superstars. In his pay-per-view return, he defeated the Big Boss Man at the 1993 Royal Rumble. That June, Bigelow made it to the finals of the 1993 King of the Ring tournament, losing a match to Bret Hart soon after. Luna Vachon became Bam Bam's love interest and manager. Bigelow went on to feud with Tatanka and Duke the Clown. He teamed with the Head Shrinkers to lose to Tatanka and the Smoking Guns at SummerSlam 1993. His team, consisting of the Head Shrinkers and Bastien Booger, was defeated by the Four Dukes at the 1993 Survivor Series. He lost to Tatanka at the 1994 Royal Rumble, and he teamed with Luna to defeat Duke and Dink at WrestleMania X. In mid-1994, he was made part of Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Corporation faction, often teamed up with fellow corporation members Erwin R. Shyster and Tatanka. Bigelow also survived a high-profile Survivor Series-style match with corporation member King Kong Bundy. At the 1994 Survivor Series, they faced Lex Luger's Guts and Glory team. After Bigelow and Tatanka lost in the finals of a WWF World Tag Team Championship tournament to Bob Holly and the 1-2-3 Kid at the 1995 Royal Rumble, Bigelow was mocked at ringside by former New York Giants All-Pro linebacker Lawrence Taylor. Bam Bam fought back, shoving LT at ringside, and was soon engaged in a highly publicized feud with the famous ex-football player. Bigelow was defeated by Taylor in the main event at WrestleMania. Shortly after WrestleMania, tensions were starting to build up between Bigelow and Ted DiBiase. After he lost a match with then WWF champion Diesel in a Raw main event, DiBiase slapped him and led the entire $1 Million Corporation to take him down. Diesel made the save and Bigelow turned babyface, publicly quitting the $1 Million Corporation. He was teamed with then WWF World Champion Diesel at the 1995 King of the Ring. They defeated corporation members Tatanka and Psycho Sid. Bigelow's last WWF match was a loss to Goldust at Survivor Series 1995 Extreme Championship Wrestling after rumored problems backstage with the KLIQ. Bigelow left the WWF in late 1995 and made a few appearances in the original Extreme Championship Wrestling in early 1996, feuding with Taz. Later in the year, Bigelow would face Bam Bam Terry Gordy. He won with the assistance of the Eliminators. On November 17, 1996, Bigelow competed in a New Japan mixed martial arts event against Kimo Leopoldo. Bigelow was dominated throughout the match, being mounted within the first 10 seconds. He lost to a rear naked choke in the first round. Despite not being a trained mixed martial artist, Bigelow was able to command a substantial purse for the fight. Bigelow later commented that despite the crushing defeat, he would gladly sign up for other MMA fights providing the financial rewards were as appealing. However, he never fought after that. Bigelow would later claim in a shoot interview that the fight was a work and he received minimal damage for a nice paycheck. He then claimed that he was the world's highest paid jobber. He returned to Paul Heyman's ECW in 1997, eventually joining with the reformed Triple Threat faction, with Chris Candido and lead member Shane Douglas. He was a dominant force in ECW, carrying out feats of strength such as hurling Spike Dudley out of the ring and into the audience and slamming Taz through the ring itself. He held the ECW World Television Championship and the ECW Championship during his run. Bigelow turned on fellow Triple Threat member Shane Douglas. Under the guidance of Rick Rude and won the ECW World Heavyweight title in October 1997. He would go on to lose the belt back to Douglas at the November to Remember pay-per-view in a classic match. Both men were so badly injured as a result of the match that they didn't appear on television for over a month. They continued to feud, with Bam Bam looking to Taz to join him in his campaign against the Triple Threat. Eventually, he turned on Taz and rejoined the group as Triple Threat prospect Lance Storm was tossed aside. His reign as World TV Champion began with a victory over Taz at the Living Dangerously pay-per-view in March 1998. After defending the title in a few vicious brawls with the Sandman, Bigelow was defeated by Rob Van Dam. RVD was assisted by Sabu. who had originally been scheduled to receive a shot at Bigelow's title. Van Dam was only supposed to soften up the Beast from the East. Bigelow remained in the triple threat and continued to feud with Taz for most of 1998. By the end of the year, he left the company for WCW World Championship Wrestling on November 16, 1998. Bigelow debuted in World Championship Wrestling. He initially was portrayed as an unwelcome guest from outside the company and feuded with then WCW World Heavyweight Champion Goldberg before being shifted to the WCW Hardcore division, along with fellow ECW alumni Raven and Hardcore Hack. He was put in a stable with Diamond Dallas Page and Chris Kanyon, known as the Jersey Triad, in May 1999. After the Triad disbanded, Bigelow began feuding with ECW alumnus Mike Awesome, who defeated him in an ambulance match at Starrcade 2000. His final feud in WCW was with Shawn Stasiak, culminating on the final episode of WCW Nitro in March 2001. The stipulation of the match was that, if Bigelow won, he would tattoo "That Sweet Thing" in the ring. However, Stasiak won the match. Independent circuit. Bigelow remained with WCW until the company was purchased by the WWF in March 2001. Then, he waited until his Time Warner contract expired in June 2002. He returned to the ring, making several appearances for USA Pro Wrestling. He performed his final wrestling match on October 25, 2006 for the American Combat Wrestling promotion, teaming with Ralph Mosca as The Syndicate, in a tag team match against Overkill. In his most profitable years, he earned between $750,000 and $1.2 million per year. Later life and death. In 2000, Bigelow and his wife Dana Fisher, with whom he had 3 children, divorced. In 2005, Fisher sued Bigelow for non-payment of child support. In July 2000, Bigelow received second-degree burns on 40% of his body while rescuing 3 children from a burning house near his home. Following the incident, Bigelow spent 2 months recovering in a hospital. In August 2002, Bigelow made several public appearances to promote a chain of automotive customizers called Hot Rods throughout the southeast of the United States, along with a 7-minute speech that Bigelow prepared himself. He would also often unveil a hot rod which was detailed by the staff of each shop to resemble the hot rod-style flames associated with Bigelow for much of his career. 14 cars were displayed and eventually sold, with all proceeds going to local charities. Upon his retirement, Bigelow moved to a private recreational community called The Hideout in Lake Ariel, Pennsylvania. He also opened the eponymous Bam Bigelow restaurant, located nearby in the town of Hamlan in Salem Township, but it later closed. He then relocated to Florida, with even his close friend Shane Douglas clueless as to his whereabouts. In May 2004, Bigelow was charged with endangering the welfare of a child through reckless driving. He attributed the incident to a seizure he had suffered, and the charges were dropped 2 months later. On October 2, 2005, Bigelow was hospitalized with a broken nose and several lacerations after crashing his Harley-Davidson motorcycle in Spring Hill, Florida. Janice Remizievich, Bigelow's girlfriend, was his passenger at the time of the crash, and she suffered severe injuries. A spokesman for the Florida Highway Patrol stated that Bigelow would be the focus of the homicide investigation should Remizievich die, but she eventually made a complete recovery and remained with Bigelow until his death. On the morning of January 19, 2007, Bigelow was found dead in his home by Remizievich at approximately 10 a.m. Est in Hudson, Florida. He was 45 years old. The autopsy results showed that Bigelow's death was due to multiple drugs found in his system, including toxic levels of cocaine and an anti-anxiety drug. Bigelow was also suffering from a heart problem, specifically arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease, and had severe back problems. In wrestling finishing moves: wham, bam, thank you mom, greetings from Asbury Park, ECW, WCW, nuclear splash, CWA, slingshot splash, 1987, 1988. Signature moves: bam bam, salt body avalanche, cobra clutch, bulldog, delayed vertical suplex, drop kick, double underhook, backbreaker, enziguri headbutt, drop jumping DDT, lariat, military press, slam, power bomb, running somersault, senton, running splash, snake eyes. Managers: Larry Sharp, Diamond Dallas Page, Sir Oliver Humperdinck, Paulie, Dangerously, Rick Rude, Luna Vachon, Ted DiBiase. Nicknames: The Beast from the East, The Flamed Wonder, The Taz Killer. Entrance themes: Welcome to the Jungle, by Guns N' Roses, The Zoo, by Bruce Dickinson. Championships and accomplishments: Continental Wrestling Association Hour Southern Heavyweight Championship, Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW World Heavyweight Championship, ECW World Television Championship, NWA Northeast Heavyweight Championship, New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP Tag Team Championship, with Big Van Vader. Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked number 24 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 1994, ranked number 68 of the top 500 singles wrestlers of the PWI years. In 2003, ranked number 36 of the top 100 tag teams of the PWI years, with Big Van Vader in 2003. Universal Superstars of America USA Heavyweight Championship, USA Pro Wrestling, USA Extreme Wrestling, USA Pro, UXW Heavyweight Championship, World Championship Wrestling, WCW Hardcore Championship, WCW World Tag Team Championship with Diamond Dallas Page and Canyon One, World Class Wrestling Association, WCWA Television Championship, World Wrestling Federation Slammy Award Best Head with Gene Okerlund, Wrestle Association Award World Six-Man Tag Team Championship, with Hiromi Chifuyuki and Yoji Anjo Six-Man Tag Team Tournament, with Genichiro Tenryu and Asushi Onita. Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards Rookie of the Year, Worst Worked Match of the Year, with Bastion Booger and the Head Shrinkers vs. The Bushwhackers and Men on a Mission at Survivor Series. 1. Bigelow defended the title with either Page or Canyon under the Freebird rule. Mixed martial arts record. Filmography: Ready to Rumble, Icebreaker, Joe's Apartment, Major Payne, Snake Eater 3, His Law.